Well, the game was fantastic. Well played by both teams. We all had a lot of fun. It was great to watch. Very talented players. We have ongoing negotiations in Iran and with Iran. That hasn't stopped. And we could have at least an idea by 1 or 2 days from now, but I think it's going well. The blockade continues to hold 100%. Nothing is getting through our blockade. No oil, no income, no nothing. Nothing's getting through the blockade. We have our great Secretary of the Interior, and we have Lee Zeldin, as you know, Environment. And you might give him a little update on what we're doing with a few different things, as long as we're here with the news, with the media. Yeah, being very nice tonight, the media. In California, I hear they speeded the process up a little bit and had a good result, one good result out of two. Doug, would you like to say a couple of words?
Well, I would just say on the Middle East, President Trump has all the leverage, and I'm confident we're going to come out of this with a great deal. In terms of getting ready for the spectacular celebration of our amazing country, our 250th, with President Trump's Safe and Beautiful in D.C., what's been accomplished. Want to give a shout out to everybody that works for the National Park, the U.S. Park Police, but cleaning up dozens and dozens of monuments, dozens of fountains back working again. The reflecting pool, which you've all known, is near completion. It's going to be ready before the UFC event at the end of this week. So everything's going great on that front. The city's never looked better. And President Trump, I think you've called them love letters. You've got more love letters on about the fountains and the beauty of the city than ever before. But how fitting as we go into our 250th that President Trump personally getting involved in making sure that our capital reflects the greatness of our country, because it's not decline is a choice, and President Trump has shown a blueprint for every American city, every mayor in this country that's got a large metro, that's got a homeless problem, that's got a graffiti problem, that's got a crime problem. He's played out a blueprint of how you solve that, and that's the real lesson here.
Well, and I have to tell you that the main thing is there's very little crime now in D.C. It was a crime haven a year and a half ago. Very little crime. Soon, I think it'll be almost no crime whatsoever. So I want to thank really the National Guard, the D.C. Police. We work very closely with them, and they do as we ask, and they've been terrific, really terrific. And we have very, very little crime. Also, Memphis, and if you look at New Orleans in Louisiana, they're down 77%. Memphis is down 74%. And I would say D.C. is down 95%. D.C. has become very safe and very beautiful. The grass is new, much of the grass. Grass has a life just like a human being has a life, and it hadn't been changed in 100 years. But you see there's nobody sleeping on the beautiful parks. The wire and fences are all taken down. And D.C. is very safe, and it's also become very beautiful. The reflective lake, as we call it, the beautiful reflective lake. I mean, it's like a mirror. And that's filling up now, still filling up. And we increased the scope quite a bit. We've taken care of now all of the sidewalk and everything around the lake, because we have to bring it into the same shape. And a lot of it's granite. We sandblasted. It looks beautiful. And we had 22 different fountains, all of which didn't work for 40 or 50 years. They were loaded up with graffiti, and because of the Department of Interior working with me and some other people that are into it, we want to beautify. We have one of the most beautiful capitals in the world, and doing a really good job. So of the 22, not one of them worked for 40 or 50 years. Now every one of the 22 worked, and I think we have a couple of more to go. No?
We're doing ribbon cuttings almost every other day, and fabulous to see all these coming back online. But what's most exciting is to see how much the people that live in Washington, D.C. and visit Washington, D.C. love coming to a safe and beautiful city. And I think it really reflects what we're celebrating here at our 250 is not just gratitude for the past and respect for all that's gone before us, but it's inspiration for the future. People come and see what America can be.
You know, it's a little bit just sitting here talking or standing here talking to you. And we have a lot of respect for a lot of the people before me. I know some of you very well. But take a look at that plane. See that plane? That's in perfect mint condition. Take a look at that. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? And everything should look that way. We work with the military. We do a real job. But you look at the polish. Look at the way everything is beautiful. And that's the way we won DC. And some people would laugh or smile at it, but there's nothing to smile at. So DC's become really safe and really, really beautiful. And we have some great things planned, like the promenade. We've got a promenade at the Lincoln Museum at Lincoln, and you have to see this. This will be one of the most beautiful things. The Lincoln Memorial is going to be unbelievable. It was supposed to front on the Potomac, and they built two highways behind it. And we're taking care of that by bridging over the highways. It's going to be beautiful what they're doing there. So we have some really, and the Ark will be maybe the greatest thing. I think the ballroom, but a combination of the ballroom and the Ark will be the two greatest projects of them all. So we've got a lot of exciting things happening. Getting back to other things like jobs numbers, we have record jobs. We have more people working in the United States today than at any time in the history of our country. And you see the numbers on the stock exchange. We had just today 73 records. We have 73 new highs. So out of my short 1.5 years, we've had 73 brand new highs on the various stock exchanges, and that's a record. Nobody's ever had anything like that, and that's during a military conflict. So pretty amazing. And even the oil and gas, it's lower during a military conflict than it was during the Biden administration. And they didn't have that because to them it was okay that Iran has a nuclear weapon. And I say it's not okay. So the B-2 bombers did a big job and a great job. And we have got that in very good control. They will not have a nuclear weapon. Okay. Could I ask Lee? He's done an incredible job, as you know. The environment is good, and he's approving more plans than any human being, I think, has ever approved anywhere in the world. We have more factories going up, car plants, AI plants. We have about $18 trillion being invested in the United States, which is a record by far. There's never been anything like it. Many, many times more than the last administration. I won't get into the numbers. The numbers are astronomical. But in the history of the world, there has never been a country that's had $18 trillion invested in it, and that's in 11 months. The last administration had much less than $1 trillion over a period of 4 years. We have $18 trillion in 11 months. We haven't gotten the final numbers on the 12th month, which will be very good. Lee, do you want to say something?
Sure. Well, the Spurs, they have some good players. Wembayama, Castle did well tonight, but I'm still going with the Knicks. I think that they're going to pull it off. And Mr. President, it was awesome to be able to spend the night with you. The energy was amazing. Jim Dolan was a great host. But this Knicks team, OG Anunoby was fantastic. Jalen Brunson's Mr. Clutch. They have great heart. So I'm feeling good about how that series is going.
How many games?
I'm going Knicks in 5. I feel like it's a resilient, strong team.
He knew every player.
They're going to come out for Game 4, and they are going to deliver.
The 5th game in San Antonio?
Oh, I don't know. We're busy with a lot of important stuff right now at EPA.
Like a war.
There's a lot of important stuff going on, but I happen to be in New York. We were just in Binghamton earlier today, where we believe that we should build a new Constitution pipeline to deliver natural gas from Pennsylvania to New England. We believe that New York should reverse its ban on the extraction of natural gas.
We're getting held up by the governor of New York. She made a deal with us to allow us to build it, and she's holding it up. And Connecticut is suffering, and all of New England is suffering, and upstate New York is really suffering. And this is a pipeline that goes very substantially underground that nobody's going to see. And the people of New England and others are paying among the highest prices anywhere in the world, frankly. If you look at throughout the world, because we have a governor that just doesn't allow it. This has gone on for a long time, and we made a deal with her, and she broke the deal. We made a deal. We're going to give her a couple of windmills someplace because she likes windmills, which is a big mistake. And we made the deal. So I guess we're withdrawing those windmills. But she gave us two, one going out to Long Island, which is now under construction, and one going to New England. And the big one going to New England, the people in New England are paying a fortune.
All right, welcome one and all. David Snedeker here, back in the Sned Shed. Thanks for your patience kind of getting through all that with just having some issues with my desk and so forth. But it's been good. We've had the intimacy of my living room, but it's back in the Sned Shed tonight. Just a couple things, folks, before I jump into things tonight. There's obviously retaliation with the war in Iran, and President Trump is trying to get them to stop this. This is very significant what's happening right now, and there's a lot of comms that are talking about the end. There's a lot that I'm going to get into tomorrow night with you on that, because I'm going to do a deep dive into the comms and how they're relating to everything that is going on, especially with Iran and with in the elections in California. So we're going to get into that a bit more tomorrow, but also keep in mind too, I mean, what President Trump warned Europe about years ago was that they were buying, natural gas and oil from Russia, and they were actually funding the war against Ukraine when they were asking us to send, billions and billions of tax dollars to Ukraine. Europe has been funding Russia in that war all along with their purchase of energy. President Trump tried to warn them about the wind and the solar and the lack of viability of those things, and now they're paying a huge price. And now he's doing the same thing with the woke New England, New York, trying to get some energy to these people so that they stop feeling the pain at the pump and at their home, trying to cool and heat their home with the electricity, with their rising costs. And I spoke about this many years ago during Obama's years too, because I was, in the oil sands space, the tar sands, like the Utah and Canadian tar sands, and trying to get a technology through that my brother and I developed. So I would actually crunch the numbers on the viability of various energies, and solar and wind were never viable, and that's always been a farce. The wind doesn't blow all the time. The sun doesn't shine all the time. They're tremendous waste. So it's and we turned our back on the very thing that got us to where we are in this, place and time in human history. We're kind of turning our backs on the whole thing, when all we really need to do is just clean the water, clean the air, and clean the soil with the things that we're putting in it. So speaking of cleaning the earth and cleaning our surroundings and cleaning our bodies, from the toxins, from the sheer burden that has been placed upon us by our food, by the spraying of the air, by the spraying of our crops, by the GMOs, by the manufactured beef, by the pollution of our water, the runoff from the farms, the pollution of our atmosphere with the with the EMF with the 5G, with the Wi-Fi. And we're going to get into that tonight because as much as, excuse me, I have a little frog in my throat. Cheers, everybody. There's me and Jasper. Thank you, Hunter Sabo, for that. And cheers, everybody. So, my friends, back by popular demand is a wonderful naturopath from Colorado, and somebody who we had on a couple weeks ago and was just fantastic, and kind of talked about a lot of the things, because we're talking about a lot of the problems, my friends, with the world. And it's really important that we step into solution. And here to step into solution with us is Maria Boldry. Maria, welcome back to Med Shed. Thank you for being with us this evening.
So happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me back. We had such a fun time last time.
That was really a great conversation. I got a lot of great feedback from the folks, and they really enjoyed it. And it's not, and folks, just so you know, if you're not in a place where you can purchase a device that we talked about last time, fear not. We're going to talk about a lot of things that can benefit you, and a lot of things that are food for thought in just your natural wellness and how to best take care of yourselves. And yes, Maria, tell me about a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, where are you at in your world? You're seeing all the attacks, if you will, right? In that little gaggle, that little press gaggle, Doug Burgum said that decline is a choice. I thought that was a very, well said, right? It's like President Trump is cleaning up DC, and whatever you think about President Trump, as you know, he's cleaning up DC. That cannot be argued, right? Maybe people might question his methods, or maybe people might question him putting his name on the Kennedy Center, or things like that. But it's like the it's safer, it's cleaner, and he basically made a choice to have a better Washington D.C., right? Because decline is a choice, and I think oftentimes we don't realize that the decline of our health is a choice. And with everything that you're seeing in your history, if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit about, how you're seeing things out there, and what you're doing about, to combat some of these things.
That is a very broad question, David.
Yes, it is, right. The 1,000 things that you do on a daily basis.
How many hours are we going to be here tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're actually going to try to keep it short. I went a little bit long-winded last time. I take blame for, I think it was 2.5 hours or something, but I'd like to keep it a little briefer out of respect for your time of our audience, and the brevity of information that we're hopefully able to convey here.
Absolutely. Well, you asked me a really broad question, and I'll give you a broad answer, which is, what I say all the time is prevention with intention. I mean, we have to start really looking at what's in our toolbox. I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen just over the period of the last 10 years is being prepared. And I also mean in a prepper sort of way as well. We need to be thinking about those things too, but we need to be looking at what are we doing today that's going to benefit us tomorrow. And we don't think about that in our teens. We don't think about that in our 20s or in our 30s even. Then we start creaking in our 40s and 50s and we start going, maybe I should have been doing something all along. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest thing, is just trying to figure out what do we need to do today? How can we create a preventative measure in our everyday life? And unfortunately, we have a medical community that has been trained to not tell us how to do that. I always tell people that, when you go to the doctor, they just want to help find a way to shut your body up. And when you come to me, I try to decipher what your body's been trying to tell you for a very long time through symptoms. What is it? And I think that's where we need to come back. We need to reel it back in and go, I don't want to shut my body up. I want to honor what it's been trying to tell me for a very long time. And that is in symptoms. So when you look at prevention with intention, you're like, what symptoms do I have now? How can I mitigate them? How can I lower them? How can I change that? But then also looking at where we're headed. You're talking about, 5 going into 6G and HARP and who knows what else, chemicals, all the stuff that's coming at us. We have to be really proactive now. We can't just sit back on our laurels like we did probably 25 years ago. Or even like 5 years ago. Boy, it's escalated really fast. Even moving into AI and really sort of protecting yourself against that little bit of wall of, I don't really want, I don't want my blood as a marker for people to know what I'm doing. I've got to figure out what can I do to mitigate that so that I'm not just, another number to everyone. I'm actually a living person here, functioning, presenting what I can to the world. And
Right.
We all have a gift to give, right? We all have a gift to give. And because of our society, many people never find what that gift is. So I think as we move into this new age of technology, we're going to have to start really looking at what do I love to do and how does that meet a need for somebody? And that could be in the medical field. It could be somewhere else. For me, it's sort of in that educating people about those things that you're talking about, how to change our body, how to move through the supplements and get it right so that as maybe those things aren't available, we actually have them. Whether that's like growing your own garden or, doing a tower garden. I mean, that's something Steve and I want to do is, grow our own lettuces and our own arugula and all of that. And we haven't gotten into that yet, but that's something that we're looking at doing too, because you just don't know,
Right.
So I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for. I gave you a very broad answer for a very broad question.
Yeah, it was a very broad question. It's like one of those questions that, you stay up all night trying to answer. You know what I mean? It's because there's so much that's coming at us. And,
yes.
One of the things that caught the attention of people a couple years ago as they were kind of awakening to the indoctrination, which is why I call this show The Indoctrination. It's like I wanted to awaken people to the indoctrination, medically, educationally, incarceration nation, all the different areas of the control mechanism that really, when you get right down to it, you realize, wow, they really don't care about us. Like the people that are really making the decisions really don't care about us. And so when people started waking up to this, there were a lot of people that were talking about the med beds, and they were grifting like off this potential of these med beds, and like they're coming. And it really is, like I've always learned, that you do the best you can with what you have in the time.
Yeah, you can't stay stagnant waiting.
Yeah, you can't wait. And that, to me, that puts us in victimhood, right? And so what Wayne Clark shared with me maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, not even that long ago, I don't think. And what Nancy has gotten involved in, and then Wayne put you and I in touch with each other, is something that is akin to that kind of a frequency healing technology. And I don't want to say the healing technology, but the frequency that puts our body in a position to better function. I mean, is that what you would?
Absolutely. Yeah, we need to find a way to help our cells communicate better and get blood flow to the cells, because when the cells have better blood flow, they have better oxygenation and nutrition, and they know what to do. And we're going to talk about some really cool stuff tonight. So I don't want to
All right.
break it now.
I'll bring up the slide that you shared.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing this to us. and you just
I'm getting
take it
excited.
away. I'm gonna the less speaking I do tonight, I think the better.
Well,
to be honest with you.
that's not true. That's not true.
Well, it's it's a little self-deprecating, and maybe there's some truth in that as well. But at any rate, I want to defer to you to your expertise.
Well, and I know you want to talk about a lot of different things tonight, so we'll dig into some of that. But what I'm going to talk about here initially, and I can go through this slide deck fairly quickly, is just talking about the device that we were just communicating about, that we did our last show about, because there were some people probably that weren't on your show, and there's other people that maybe are on the fence about maybe I should get it. But we're going to talk about a little bit of testimonials tonight and some reasons why you should get it, or why you should look into saving up for it, or if you already have it, why you're thankful you got it.
And by the way, my audience, 17 of my audience bought a device, which is pretty awesome. And we're big fans of 17 because Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet. And so I'm grateful to everybody that jumped on. And so please.
If you want to make that screen, can you make that full? I know that some of my slides probably would be better viewed if it didn't have all the stuff on the side.
Let me do this here. Let me go to full screen here. And okay. And so we still have the thing on the side, but there we go. Okay. How about that?
Okay.
All right.
Hopefully people can see this. I do have some slides, but I'll talk through it. So,
and I can do this too, but that makes it too small. Let me, okay, go ahead.
And I sent you a PDF version. I'll make sure that I send you a regular slide deck next time. Because maybe that's why, because you can't move it into a bigger space. But anyway, we'll get through it. I'll talk you through it. So people who have this device, it's a multifaceted frequency device. So it's delivering a lot of amazing wave patterns that we don't typically get directed to us at any given time or any one time. We're subjected to all these different wave patterns and frequencies in our life. I mean, turn the microwave on and you're subjected to that frequency, right? Turn on a healing device and you're subjected to that, turn on your Healy and you're subjected to that frequency, right? That wave pattern. But this is the first device I've come across that has this really nice synergistic sort of directed flow into the human body using direct current to get it to you. And then we're seeing it do amazing things. So we'll talk about testimonies in a bit. But if you want to go to that next slide, it's just really, where did it come from? And that's a question that I think has a great answer to it. So go ahead and, there you go.
I can make it a little bigger there.
And then go ahead and go to the next slide. Yeah, because you don't need that top border. Okay, right. So Dr. Zahn, he is the founder of the technology, putting the technology together. And he's an inventor, entrepreneur who developed the technology behind the company's wellness devices. His products are based on research in bioenergetics, frequency technology, and wellness support. This is what I think is so cool about his story, is that he loved looking at Olympians and seeing, I can't remember if we talked about this last time, but it's a really cool story, that he loved seeing how Olympians found the tools they needed to heal, or even just those in our sports. I mean, you probably had great technology even when you were when you were playing basketball to heal faster, not just an ice dip for your ankle, but other things, that you were doing. Probably some of them not so great either, but back then, now I think they're doing a combination of both. But he just loved seeing how Olympians were able to find the right herbs and the right supplements and the right topicals and the right technology, the right electroceuticals to heal in a very, very short period of time. If you go to the next slide, this is Lindsey Vonn, and we know her through the downhill skiing, right?
Yeah.
And I just want
She's
you to look at her history, right? She started in 2007. She's won 11 major championship medals throughout her historic Olympic or alpine skiing career, which includes 3 Olympic medals and 8 world championships. But when you look at how many times she's been injured and injured the same knee and the same ACL, she's had all of these injuries, and her healing time is miraculous. Here in 2013, she had an ACL and MCL and a fracture. So she had tears in her ACL, MCL, and a fracture. I'm sorry, but that puts your knee in a place where you can't trust it at all. Boom. You can't, even if the fracture wasn't there, torn ACL and torn MCL, that's what holds you.
I've done that.
That's
I've done that, and meniscus.
That's
all
what
in the
holds
same
your knee
injury.
in place, right? That's what holds your joint together.
Yeah.
And her recovery time was 9 months, and she was back out on the slopes, trusting her knee. Like that's for the rest of us. And I don't know how long it took you to heal, but for a lot of people, that's a lifelong injury. That's something that you just deal with every day. And you just go, well, I can't go swimming because if I kick that way, I'll have a bucket tear or whatever on the cartilage. I mean, we all have some issues that we have to deal with joints. But
by the way, I got a great story for that.
Okay.
I tore my ACL, my MCL, and my meniscus. And my friend was doing Nikken magnets at the time.
Yep.
He gave me some Nikken magnets, and I taped those on my knee and just left them there 24/7.
Yep.
And when I went in for my ACL surgery, he was going to replace or repair the MCL and the meniscus. But when he went in, it was one of the top doctors in LA, Curlin Job. I think the same week that I had mine done, Tom Cruise and Leonardo DiCaprio had theirs done the same week I did.
Okay.
And, so this was the top guy. So I knew I was with the best, right? If those guys are seeing this guy, and also athletes, but he went in there and it had healed. The MCL and the meniscus had healed, and he said he had never seen that before. And he said, "What have you been doing?" And I showed him the magnets I was doing. He's like, poo-pooed it, right?
Right.
And he had to redo the ACL. But that's the magnetic frequency we're talking about. But the Oli life is another level. It's not strapping a magnet on your knee. It's taking it to a whole new level. Yeah. So I experienced that firsthand, and my recovery was 6 months.
Yep.
And I was back playing again. But that fracture is another story, though. That's a whole other thing.
The fracture, that's probably why the 9 months, just to get that to heal. But when you talk about magnets, and we can go into this because a lot of what my slides here are about magnetism, because that's one of the components that the Oli Life brings to the body. We're just a bag of atoms, right? And you've seen an atom and the beautiful spiral around it. It's all the electrons and protons, positive, negative charge, right? And that's how we're put together, right? We're a whole bunch of atoms spinning slow enough to create matter. And I know that's hard to conceptualize, but that's really what's happening. And anytime there's a disease state or something going on that's not in harmony, it means that the polarity has shifted. And that's why Nikken was so helpful, because you were using magnets to correct polarity. I mean, we even have a disease state named bipolar, right? Because we have so much happening. When you take a magnet and you hit it with a hammer hard enough, the poles will shift. Well, in the human body, either emotional trauma or physical trauma will do the same thing. And now we have reversing polarity, we have switching polarity, we have reversed polarity, we have bipolar, we have autoimmune, which is a reversed or a switching polarity in the body, because the immune system doesn't know how to function on planet Earth when the polarity is reversing. It's this beautiful science, it's physics. When you really break us down into the particulate matter, it's that we're just so beautifully and wonderfully made. However, we need magnetism. So here you are putting Nikken magnets on your knee and recovering so much more quickly, right? Yeah. So, And I have some great other stories for magnets too as we go along. But let's go back to the slide deck and let's look at, this is what the founder of Oli Life really appreciated so much, was the ability for Olympians to find the right technology and the right nutrition so that they could heal faster. And he wanted to bring that to the general population, which is what he did. So if you go to the next slide. Okay, so Olympians use highly advanced wellness technologies to accelerate tissue repair, reduce inflammation, and bypass traditional downtime. So we just saw that in that last slide. And then I love when they talk about direct current, because our body is based on electricity. We're just a big magnet, right? So we need electricity. We need our electrical pathways. Some people call them meridians. They're electrical pathways, whatever you want to call it. That's what's happening in our body to make sure that everything is functioning well, is that electricity is running the show. And the minute we start to feel ill, it's because our energy or our whole battery, our voltage has come down. We're not running top notch like we used to. And so I love how they use there's a product now called I think it's called Newbie, and it's pretty expensive. They're using it in a lot of gyms where they're using direct current with patches. The Oli Life, you're putting your feet on the plates, but they're using patches on the body across from each other and in different patterns to create a direct current, which is a little bit more it's a little bit more the way the body flows. Pulsed electromagnetic field, the body doesn't create that. It's more of a direct current, right? Especially when there's no inflammation and no congestion and the current can just run. So direct current can be super helpful. That's why microcurrent is so helpful, right? So this is just a slide that knowing that all of these Olympians are using this kind of technology, and the Oli Life has part of this in it, which is really awesome. Okay, the next slide. So that's kind of like, what is it? That's what he brought to the table. And now why we need it. Well, why we need it is what we just talked about, right? We're just a big battery, and we end up being having our battery just depleted. And that is because over the last 2 generations, we have depleted soil, right? We have depleted soil, so we don't have the right nutrition in our soil going into the food. Now our food is nutritionally deficient, which means we are nutritionally deficient and we need a lot more. Now, if you look over here at this Kushi Institute analysis from 1975 to 1997, so quite a while ago, right? Out of 12 fresh vegetables, analyzing their nutritive qualities. Calcium down 27%, iron down 37%, vitamin A and vitamin C down 21 and 30% respectively. So we're not eating healthier. And that's why a lot of people need to eat more, because 1 apple in 1915 is equivalent to, I don't know how many apples today, but back then an apple a day keeps the doctor away was probably very, very accurate because of the nutritional quality that 1 apple held. And today we know that not only is it water and they make them bigger and the nutrition isn't there the same way, but then we also have all the chemicals that have been placed on the fruit. So now our body has to deal with that too. So we have this onslaught of toxins at the same time. Okay, so go to the next slide. So this is why we need it. Here is what we should be doing. The earth is our battery, right? That's how God made it. The earth is our battery. We have sunshine, right? We have magnetism from earth. We have fresh water. We have rain. We have negative ions in the air. We have all of these great healing frequencies right under our feet, but we don't use them the same way, right? We don't get up and we don't look, we're not in presence of the sunrise or the sunset every day. We don't always get out and get fresh air. All of this beautiful battery charger we have for our bodies, about 70% of us don't use any of it, which is really scary now, but we're moving into that generation where people just stay inside and they don't get to do anything. Okay, so go to the next slide. And this is kind of what we've become, we've become a world that is a microwave society, super fast pace. Everybody's on some type of medication, hopefully not the people on this show, but if you are, we'll help you get off of it. But everybody is so fast paced. We're using microwaves, which changes the whole blueprint of food. We're just not doing things healthfully because we need to get this stuff done faster. And so we're not getting outside. We're limiting our exercise because we're inside a lot. We're eating the processed food and the fast food culture. And then we're not present at sunrise and sunset. And I want to tell you why this is so important with red light. I don't think we talked about this last time, but this is really, really important because it falls in line with the prevention with intention. So I'm going to segue out here just a little bit from the slide deck. So back in 2016, 17, red light therapy became kind of the buzzword, right? Now you're seeing like infrared belts on Amazon you can buy. Red light therapy, you can go to your gym and they have walls of red light. Well, during COVID, that viral pattern, most viruses will follow the calcium ion channel into the cell. And then they close it off. Calcium is the most alkalizing mineral we have in the body. Okay. So if that avenue is cut short, then we become acidic in our terrain, right? The interstitial fluid around the cells, we become really acidic. Well, 5G does the same thing. So Wuhan went 5G. That was the first city to go fully 5G.
Right.
And 5G, that low radiation frequency, it messes with, it changes, it alters the calcium ion channel so that the body becomes more acidic. But this is the cool part. 2 or 3 years prior to all of that happening in 2020, red light therapy became the buzzword. But guess what red light therapy does? Can you tell I'm excited about this? Red light therapy, it normalizes the calcium ion channel.
Now, I have one. It has like 3 things that go over my head, and I put it. How does it do that? Like, what does it? How does it work with the calcium ion channel? Like
the red light specifically?
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Okay.
get this. But get this. We're supposed to be in the presence of the sunrise and the sunset every day, right? That's the whole spectrum of color. And red light therapy is there to help us balance and normalize our minerals. So again, when we go back to the previous slide, you don't have to, but just thinking about it, our earth is our battery. And we're just not utilizing it the way that God intended for us to use it to keep ourselves fully charged. We come inside, we're eating dead food, we're using microwave or other radiation. We have radiation coming at us. We have all of these different things that are altering our own charge, our own battery charge. When we have this beautiful earth below us, I don't care how toxic you think it is, you stand out in grass and you hug a tree and you will be better for it. You stand on a beach and feel the waves coming in, your sacral movement starts to, your cerebral movement, everything starts to go with that. So our earth is our battery charger. We have just stopped utilizing it that way. But I think it's so cool about red light because we have that spectrum just in our daily activity twice a day, but we don't know to use it. So we don't. But red light therapy all of a sudden became a buzzword right about the time that we were going to need it. Isn't that so awesome?
Yeah.
God is so amazing. This benevolent universe is it just blows me away every time.
And it really is. And it's a part of the indoctrination that keeps us away from it.
Yep.
And, put on sunscreen, wear sunglasses, don't be out in the sun, it's like, what?
You need to move, just get a desk that rises up and down instead of getting out. And, I'm one, I sit behind a desk a lot and I don't move enough and I need to. So we're all guilty of something, right? We all have our own little vices and we're all not doing everything. But when you really look at it, I think that's the prevention with intention that we need to look at is like, wow, I need to go out and hug that beautiful cottonwood tree out there because it's 100% grounded. It's a living being on my property. The grass allows me to just put my feet on and be connected again. And we're not doing that. And we're not training our kids to do that. You know,
Mhm.
you and I went out and we were out until sunset, you know, when, you know, mom flicked the lights, but we can't even do that anymore with our kids, just fear, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we need to come outside of that and really look at our planet as something that's just healing to us. Get to bodies of water and sit by them. Go fishing. You know, oh, my husband just heard that. Go fishing. You know, so we need to do those things. But what we've done is we've become hermits indoor for the most part, and we
Yeah.
sit in a room with fluorescent lighting all day, which is not good frequencies for you. And
Mhm.
so when we just don't eat great food, we don't bring our minerals in, and then we have these elements that are coming in and they're attacking how our minerals are actually utilized in our body. So there's some amazing things that we can do just by taking supplementations and getting out and looking at a sunset every day that can
Yeah.
start changing how your body responds and how your body's working. Okay, so that's my little bit on red light.
By the way, that I think our attraction to bodies of water is because we are bodies of water.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah.
Thank you. I just wrote that. You inspired that. Thank you.
I love it. I think you should put it in my slide deck here. Okay,
Awesome.
go to the next slide. Okay, so now we're looking at why do we need it? Well, we just talked about how everything just drains us, right? And how
Mhm.
Earth charges us, but it's because of the magnetism, right? We're just not using the resources to recharge our body. Sunlight, air, water, and the magnetic field that is present. And that is really what we need. And that is kind of the base of the P90 plus. That's what's giving us that foundation. And then they've added some other wave patterns that we'll talk about here in a second, other wave patterns to just synergistically help that magnetism work and go even further in our body. Okay, the next slide
This is awesome.
is just a great representation
Yeah.
of what drains you and what fills you up, right?
Mhm. Sure.
If you can get out, I mean, some people will be like, well, I don't need a device. Well, some people don't. Some people are fully charged and ready to go and they're doing great. And then it's the 70 to 90% of us that really need something. We need something now. And when you think about our children, you know, we always think, oh, I just had a beautiful baby and they're perfectly healthy. No, they're just what you and your husband were, or you and your wife were when you conceived. And we were all, you know, on a downward spiral towards not feeling great, not being great, not being as great as we could be, because the soil's been depleted. And now our food's been depleted. And now cellularly we are depleted. And now we're having kids that are at the, you know, the lesser healthy. How do I say that? Are less healthy as we move on, right?
Yep.
And I feel like that's kind of that's the mentality we need to come with, is how can I spiral up into health instead of spiraling down into disease?
Awesome. Tommy Renee ordered my P90. Can't wait to get it in the mail. That's
Oh,
awesome.
I'm super
Congrats.
excited for you. Yeah, it's
It's
you won't
amazing.
regret it. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And this slide just talks about magnetism again, because it's so important. I'm glad you brought up the magnets. You know, clinical data indicates that prolonged magnetic deficiency in the human body can lead to various health issues, reduced cellular vitality, increasing blood viscosity or the thickness of it, making your blood thicker, leading
Right.
to poor blood circulation, right? Inducing neural imbalances. So we're talking about, again, bipolar and reversing polarity and shifting polarity and everything, disrupting metabolism. How many people, what are they? I think they said by the end of 2020, 2035 or 2040, that was it more than half, 60% of Americans will be obese. You
Oh,
know?
my.
Yeah. So we're looking at a disruption of everything, your blood flow, your metabolism, and then it leads to cellular death, and then the death of us.
Wow.
Because our voltage isn't high enough to sustain. Okay, so the next slide
Wow. Wow.
is what it does. And so I think these are the three biggest things of what is it, why do we need it, and now what does it do, right? What it does. So this device, and we've talked about a lot of it already, so hopefully that's all sinking in and making sense, that the Oli Life is designed to kind of take all of those things we just talked about, the red light therapy. So the massager, you know, the wand that has the little three, we call it the claw massager,
Right.
has red light in it. And it has also has the electric muscle stimulation. And the foot plate has the direct current, which is it's symbiotic with what we're doing, with what our body needs. And then it has integrated PEMF or low frequency bioelectromagnetism, which helps better blood flow, right? And then it has the terahertz, which then terahertz sort of vibrates the water molecules in the body, which then generates some cellular voltage. So now you have cells that are actually calling for better blood flow. So the whole body just starts kind of spiraling up into this great pattern of health. And I think that that's what people are seeing. On the next slide, you'll see the blood flow. I think this is so.
There we go. This one.
Where am I at here? Okay, this just shows the whole thing again. Yeah, this is actually from the company, Bioelectromagnetic Therapy to Support Cellular Functions and Promote General Wellness. The OliLife Terahertz P90 Plus stands out due to its unique combination of bioelectromagnetic, direct current, and terahertz energy, with each offering distinct yet complementary benefits. That's the synergy that I was talking about. We're all exposed to these wave patterns in our everyday life, but when you can put them together in a directed form through the feet and up through the body, it starts changing everything. By mimicking the Earth's natural pulse magnetism, these combined wave patterns help cell-to-cell interaction. So that's the communication, support cellular functions, essentially functioning as a cellular charger that boosts energy, right? And then terahertz, known as the light of life, terahertz energy resonates synergistically with the body molecules to improve microcirculation, dredge or clean out the energy pathways, and increase cellular voltage. So the secret sauce, right? It's what people are looking for to actually start to heal. The next slide is the one that has the blood flow. So this is blood flow. So you can see the platelet and the red blood cell stacking prior to the OliLife session, and then what it looks like after one 20-minute session. So which red blood cells do you think are going to carry the best amount of oxygen out to the cells? The ones that are free flowing, right? And there's a lot of things that this happens with. I mean, this can happen with, I don't know, just eating a better pH balanced diet and exercising consistently. But there's something about the electromagnetism and the terahertz coming together. I've worked with PEMF devices for, a few decades now, and just seen the results of better blood flow to the cell and how much faster people heal. This, in my opinion, this device, I haven't seen people heal this fast ever in my time of clinic. Yeah.
Wow.
And then here we're starting the testimonials. So you can look at this person on the right side, 3 weeks of P90 plus. So this is before and after, and you can see the amount of fluid that this person was carrying.
Crazy.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then if you go to the next slide, I just put a few in here and then we can talk about it. So there's a lot of people, because it's, you're putting your feet on the plate. There's a lot of people that have edema, that it just starts to help, resolve that swelling. And so this person here on the left, that was his 10th session. You can really see the reduction in swelling in his feet and his ankles.
Yeah.
And then this one about, I've noticed that with my blood pressure, it's definitely lowered my blood, lowest it's ever been. And so here's just after one session on the right-hand side, 156/73. And right after the session, it was 121/51. And that's why when you get the manual, those of you who have gotten the device and you've gotten the manual, you'll notice, because it's a wellness device, it's not a medical device, they don't put protocol in there. And that's why I wrote the book, because they don't give protocol. What you'll find in the OliLife manual is just a lot of precautionary stuff and just using it wisely and being smart. And so they do kind of paint a very broad stroke of if you have diabetes or if you have high blood pressure, you shouldn't use this machine. And I'm like, oh, can you please change the wording? In fact, I have asked them to change the wording to unmonitored blood sugar and unmonitored blood pressure, because in this one session here, you can see on the right side of the screen, that's a huge reduction in blood pressure, right?
One session. 20
minutes. And the thing is, you're not changing blood volume when you use the device. You're changing blood flow and where it's getting to, right? So if we're taking the volume of blood you have now and we're sort of pushing it out to places where it's, you've had weaker, blood circulation, now we've just reduced the amount of blood in the volume everywhere, not reduce the volume, but we've spread it out. So you need to hydrate. You need to drink your water.
Right.
You need to have electrolytes coming in. Don't stand up too quickly because something like this can happen. I also had a gentleman that his blood sugar levels before and after went down 20 points. Well, that's big. If somebody's hypoglycemic, that could actually go, oh, wow, I need something now to readjust my blood sugar, my glucose levels. So again, caution, but the manual is pretty extreme in what it talks about. I don't know if you noticed that, David, when you opened yours, when you were thumbing through it, you're like, wow, nobody can use this, but really it's just they're being super, super protective, which is very standard with any wellness.
Yeah.
Super standard. But we have to kind of read between the lines of what are they really saying? They're really saying like unmonitored, like just be very careful and cautious. We really need to honor this device and what it's doing and not use it just, frivolously. We need to really, we need to be at prevention with intention.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next slide shows a pulse ox. This one I think is really awesome that in one session, his perfusion index went from 1.6 clear up to 14.6.
Could you tell us what that is for,
because
I know, but I'm just for my audiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm kidding. I have no idea what that is.
The amount of available oxygen that's making it out to the cell.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. So I got to scroll up here a little bit. So it was 1.6 and it went to 14.6%. So is that based on 100%, right?
You know what? I don't know what the points are on that. I don't know if it's 100%. I'm not sure where that range goes up to. I will tell you a story though of a gentleman that we were putting on the Oli Life, and he forgot his. I don't know how he forgot. He forgot his oxygen in the car, probably because he doesn't need it all the time, but then finds times where he's a little bit in need, and he recognizes that his oxygen levels are getting low, so he'll go and put his oxygen on. So before we did the session, he said, I'm going to go out and get my oxygen. And I said, well, go ahead and go out and get it. But then let's just put you for a few minutes on the Oli Life before you do your oxygen. And let's just see what happens.
Okay.
And his pulse ox before, I'm trying to think what it was. It was not, I feel like it was in the low 80s. I don't think it was 79. I don't think it was in the 70s. It was a low 80s. I'm so sorry. This was like about 5 or 6 months ago. But afterwards it was 92. Without oxygen. So he didn't put his oxygen on. He just had his tank there, right? And then he got on the Oli Life and did his 20-minute session. And then after checked his pulse ox again and his oxygen level. In this person on the screen, it was 97. Do you see that? It was 97.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but this gentleman, I'm pretty sure it was low 80s, like 81, 80. Yeah. I don't think it was in the 70s, but then it went up to 92 without oxygen, and he was breathing better.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he noticed a difference.
He noticed. Yeah. Because he literally was saying, I need to go get my oxygen before I do this. So he was already feeling like he was getting depleted. Yeah. So just very cool stuff. Now this one is a little bit smaller. Let me read this one. I've been using the P90 for 12 days. The plantar issue in my foot is no longer bothering me. I've seen that so many times. I have so many pickleball players who are thankful that they have an Oli device now because their pickleball game is better because of plantar fasciitis. Similar tendon issue in my right hand. Okay, so that's new. Suffer from seasonal tension headaches, had a few headaches since starting therapy with P90, but have not had to reach for prescription meds to get them to leave. They've dissipated on their own and fairly quickly. I've suffered from chronic fatigue over the last several years, the significantly less most days and more energy. So again, those are things we hear all the time. Better sleep, more energy, eyesight better, feeling better, pain gone. old injuries kind of cropping up and then all of a sudden dissipating. It would be like, they had a knee that had an issue or something, and it felt like it was kind of flaring up, but then continued use, and then all of a sudden it's resolved. So again, the body knows how and when it can heal, right? And when it has the resources to do so. Okay.
Awesome.
And then this last one, if you want to switch to that one, this one I think has several in it. I'm finally sharing this because this still feels unreal to me. My husband has lived with severe neuropathy in his legs for over 10 years. No feeling from his feet all the way up to about 3 inches above his knee. Can you imagine? That's like
Oh my
being
God.
a weeble wobble on planet Earth and your center of gravity is above your knee. So
Wow.
walking would be horrific, right?
Yeah.
So for a decade, he couldn't feel the floor, the temperature, nothing. And when he started using the P90, honestly, I didn't know what to expect. But after just a short time, he looked at me and he said, I can feel the cold hardwood floor underneath my feet. I
Wow.
froze, 10 years of numbness, and now he can feel again. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing it with people who have stroke residue. I just had a gentleman, 72 years old, has had polio. So he came in with his canes and was very careful about maneuvering around the couch to sit down on the chair. And so we got his socks and shoes off, put his feet on the P90. Again, I do everything go low, go slow, put him on one. His right foot, he said, is always just chilling cold to the bone inside. It never gets warm. So he never has a sensation of warmth. It always feels cold inside and cold to the touch. And when I touched his foot, it felt pretty chilly. And then about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes in, all of a sudden, his foot, I could feel his ankle was starting to get warm. And he looked at his wife and he said, were you thinking of getting one of these? And she said, well, that's kind of why I called you in from the car, because I wanted you to experience this. And he said, I'm feeling warmth in my foot, like internally in my foot. He goes, I haven't felt that. He's 72. So who knows how long he hasn't felt that. And then when he got done with his session, he stood up and he was standing up taller and he walked right to the door with his canes. He had more stability, everything. So that's what we're seeing. It's just amazing. What did you want to point out on this, David?
Just that neuropathy, people are trying to find solutions to this.
Yep.
And it's not working. And I turned my friend on to a Beamer years ago who had neuropathy, and it did not do it.
Yeah.
And so this is a big testimonial right here.
It is. And it doesn't happen for everyone like this as far as neuropathy, because you have to remember that every major health issue was already in the works for years of depletion. So when you think about the human body, there are four things that we get from our food that fixes and runs and creates everything. 4 things: vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and essential fatty acids. That's it. From our hair to our toenails and everything in between.
Could you say that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Vitamins, minerals,
Okay. Yep.
amino acids, so that's the protein builders, and the essential fatty acids.
Okay.
Those 4 things. Those are the 4 builders. They create everything else. They create our hormones, our bones. Everything is created by just those 4 things. So when there's dis-ease in the body or things going on that aren't well, we need to be looking at which one or more of those, or all of them, are deficient. So when I'm working with somebody, I'm looking at what are your symptoms telling me about your deficiencies. And a lot of times it's like 1, 2, maybe 3 supplements that you need to add in to start the body on this great healing trajectory of just getting rid of those symptoms. Let me give you an example. Lactose intolerant, huge, right? It's everywhere. Yeah. Lactose intolerance is a potassium deficiency. I'm not talking about a milk allergy. That's different. This is an intolerance where you bring in cheese, ice cream, milk, and then you're either got diarrhea right away or you might even be vomiting, right? Your body's like, I don't want to do this. Well, we need potassium. So out of those 4 things, minerals, we need potassium. Potassium creates in the body, helps create lactase, which is the enzyme that breaks down milk fats and milk solids very quickly in our oven. We have a very warm oven. And when you put milk in a very warm oven, it's going to putrefy, right? It's going to start to ferment and it's going to start to not feel good, right? I almost said fart. We're going to start to, we don't feel good, right? So if we bring in potassium, then we can create more lactase so that we can break those milk solids and milk fats down a lot more quickly. And then they go right out of the stomach into the intestines where all the nutrition from dairy can then be absorbed. But that's just one example. So when you're talking about neuropathy, that is a multifaceted, lots of things can be happening in the body and lots of different systems in the body can be part of it. It can be partly the nervous system, the cardiovascular system. It can be the endocrine system because blood insulin resistance and high glucose levels can cause that. It can be a vitamin deficiency. It can be B12 or a magnesium mineral deficiency. So there can be it's multifaceted. So that this person had some great results like that is really, really cool. And we're seeing that, but it doesn't happen in everybody. And now you understand why, because it's multifaceted.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Amazing.
Okay. What's next?
It's so great.
The next slide is just now, what if every day your body was reminded of how good it feels to be recharged? That's what Oli Life brings to the table. Every single day, it helps to potentially balance blood sugar, potentially balance blood pressure, potentially get blood flow out to the peripheral where it's needing it all the time, changing how the cardiovascular system works, helping to normalize the whole nervous system so you come out of that fight or flight so that everything can work better, right? And we can actually function again that way. What if every single day that was happening and your body was being reminded of what it felt to be like that? Inflammation leaving. Do you think you'd want to eat better?
Right.
Yeah. Do you think you'd want to move your body more? Yeah. Brain chemistry is there. It's right. So dopamine and serotonin, they're working together. So yes, it's just this great, again, prevention with intention. We need something like this every day. That doesn't mean you don't stop using your Healy. You don't stop using your Beamer. You don't stop using your other devices. You don't stop your nutrition. In fact, you add more nutrition in because as cellular voltage raises, guess what you need? You need better micronutrients, right? So you got to start adding in the minerals and you got to start adding in the vitamins, the things that right now doctors pretty much tell you are a waste of money. And my husband actually got told that he was getting a dental implant, but he has white coat syndrome where it's sitting in a dentist chair, his blood pressure goes through the roof. So they said, we won't do your implant unless you get on high blood pressure medication. And the doctor said to him that he really didn't need it. And of course, Steve said, well, I have white coat syndrome, so I need to be on it. And then I said, and we'll keep doing all the same, supplementation, and we'll keep doing all at the same time. And he stopped writing his script and he turned to me and he said, you're really getting everything you need from your diet. It's really just a waste of money, to supplement like that. And then he turned and went right back to writing his script. And I looked at my husband and he got kind of wide-eyed and I was like, I'm not going to say a word. But it wasn't like he sent me to his nutritionist to find out what are we eating. For all he knew, we were eating 2 Totino's pizza and 2 liters of Coke every night. Well, that's not giving you nutrition, right? So our medical world is just they're not prompted to tell us what it really is that we need. But a lot of them are going home and having smoothies and drinking green drinks and taking nutrition. A lot of them are, but they can't tell us. So part of the indoctrination, right?
Absolutely. Yep. They can write you a script though.
That's right. They can write you a script. They're more than happy to do that. So the rest of the slide deck is just about the products. We can go into whatever you want to go to next. What do you want to talk about?
Well, just in terms of the most popular that you have here, this is what everybody kind of starts with. And it seems like
the reason I like this is because we talked about the foot plate having the direct current and the integrated PEMF and terahertz. But then the claw massager, the one with the three the three claws, that
Right.
one has the electric muscle stimulation. So that can actually be a TENS unit. If you use conductive gel or spray on your
Oh,
skin, it can be
okay.
it'll give you that sensation of a TENS unit, right?
All right.
And then it has the red light. We already talked about that because I was so excited about that, right? The red light. And then it also has heat and vibration. So now you're getting all of those frequencies directed to wherever you need it, whether it's the back of your neck or your shoulders or your knee, your stomach. If somebody's got digestive issues, they can run it across their stomach. That's helped people. And then it also has the beauty wand. The beauty wand has radio frequency in it. And radio frequency is really good for collagen and elastin building. So not only for your face, but your arms or wherever you want to do it, wherever you feel like the need for that is, you can use that there. These two devices, the wand and the beauty wand and the massager, you can't buy those separately, at least right now. Maybe they'll make them available at some point, but you can't buy them separately. So I kind of say this needs to be sort of the foundational piece that you get because it sort of covers everything. My eyesight got better using just the foot plate. I didn't have the goggles yet. I love the goggles. They're amazing. I use them before I go to bed. And I think they've helped my eyesight get better. But I noticed the eyesight change for me within 2 weeks of just using the foot plate. So for me, that was sort of an indication of like, I think this is kind of the foundational piece. And then everything else can be an add-on when you can afford it.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Wonderful.
And you have this one, right, David? You have the P90 Plus.
Yeah. And the reason I would say that one of the main reasons that I wanted to get this is because of it certainly seemed to be the best, the strongest part of the device, but also because I'm a big fan of reflexology, and our feet like is a map to our whole body.
Absolutely.
And so if our feet are on this plate,
Mhm.
we're getting the gallbladder, we're getting the arm, we're getting the shoulder, the eyes and the ears, like you were just talking about, is right here. Right. And
Something exciting about the foot before you go on is I have
yeah,
a gal who's coming tomorrow for her third session on the Oli. She had a stroke 5 years ago, and her left foot was up on its side. So she couldn't lay her foot flat down
yeah.
on the plate. She had to kind of move her knee inward so that her foot would kind of roll into that position. The second time she came, she could lay her foot flat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a factor.
Yeah. So what you're saying is just it's
Yeah.
going to help her so much because
So
she's getting everything.
I sold one today earlier, that and the woman, she couldn't put her feet flat. And so that's very interesting.
Yeah, that is.
Also, I helped another friend who's having some issues with her lats, and she's
Yeah.
trying them doing a session, and she's really having problems. So we put her on the feet, and that's day 2 now. And with the wand,
Mhm.
the claw, as you call it,
Claw.
and so I'm hoping that she's getting a little bit of relief from that, and we'll see how that all plays out. But I'll check in with her again tomorrow.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the this basically just getting back to this, like you said, it comes with the claw and it comes with the face. Could you talk about the face one, the skin one?
Yeah, if you'll go down to the next slide,
Okay. Oh, okay.
that gives you kind of so the electric muscle stimulation. So the beauty wand, that's the one on the right. That one also has the capability, if you use conductive gel, to be like a TENS unit, right? It's electric muscle stimulation. So it kind of like zings when you're, moving around. It kind of zings a little bit. It has 3 levels of intensity on the electric muscle stimulation and 3 levels of intensity with the radio frequency. The radio frequency produces a little bit of heat, but the cool thing is they don't have it so hot that you'll actually burn or let go of facial fat, which is really important because high radio frequency can actually dissolve fat, and you don't want that in your face. You don't want your skin to be saggy. You want to keep your fat, but you just want everything to be nice and tight. So I love it that they have the right radio frequency so that you're not going to do any damage to the fatty tissue that's still on your face. As we age, we want to tighten it up, but we don't want to necessarily lose the plumpness, right?
Right. Definitely.
And then we talked about the massager also has the vibration too, 3 levels of vibration. And so that can be really helpful with the red light.
This one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that one, when people come into the office, I'll ask them if they have any pain anywhere else in their body. And if they say, oh yeah, I have hip or back or shoulder or whatever, I'll go ahead and attach the massager. And while they have their feet on the pedestal, on the platform, and they're doing their session, then they'll be using the massager either with or without the vibration and anything else they want. Usually I turn everything on high because in my office, they're doing everything through clothing. So I turn the heat up to the highest, I turn the electric muscle stimulation up to the highest, I turn the red light on, and then vibration if they want it. And then they're using it for whatever they want. And then my people who have residual stroke effects, they're doing their hands. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And the scalp health, I know that I've increased my hair growth with red light therapy with the one I have.
Yep.
And that massager gives you an extra, 6,000 rotations per minute.
Yeah, there's 3. It's pretty, it can be intense on the scalp. So you got to do it lightly. But yes, with that red light and the EMS, definitely you can just run it through your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, we don't like to make claims, but ladies, you will look like her. That or your money back. I'm just kidding. But you said, okay. So this is interesting, this device.
The shaken massager. Yeah. They came out with that in the first part of the year in December, early January. This one is all of it. Doesn't have the terahertz in it, but it has the integrated PEMF. It has the radio frequency. It has red light. It has the EMS technology. It has heat. It has compression and vibration. It has all of that. So there are 3 different modes, and the body sculpting uses all of those at the same time. So it's a 20-minute session, and you just put it on your belly, and a lot of people are doing 20 minutes in the front and 20 minutes in the back, but it's been helping people with digestion, with menstrual issues. My husband uses it for back pain, and yeah. So
what's Steve's experience been with the back pain? Because I lent mine to a friend who's having back pain.
Okay, so let's talk about that briefly. So Stephen has he fell and had a compression fracture at L1. So that has sort of been, ever since that happened 4 years ago, that's just been a sore subject for him, doing a lot, like going out and mowing the lawn. That's about all he can do. I don't even let him do the dishes anymore because that's kind of a weird stance. You know how you're kind of hovered over the sink, and it's not worth it to see him in pain. So I do the dishes. But he puts that shaken massager on his back, and it's like immediately it feels better.
So are you telling me that if you wear this, if you do this every day, twice a day, that your husband will do the dishes? Is that what we're trying to go for here?
He's not in the room anymore, and I'm so sad that he's not in the room. No, he's a chef, so he does a lot. He does a lot in the kitchen. It's just that weird stance when you're hovering over it. Yeah.
Ladies, if you need your husband to do dishes, get him one of these.
Get him one of these.
Another false claim I'm throwing out there.
We have had people say that they've lost inches using it consistently, though. So
Okay, cool.
because the red light again helps the cells let go of toxicity and fat.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So there's all
yeah.
the PMF, the red light, radio frequency massage, heat therapy, vibration, and ultrasound.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Oh, that's a lot in a small package there.
It is, and it bends a little bit. So now
Yeah.
people are showing on Facebook that they are putting it like around their knee or across their ankles, or yeah. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. Good to know. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Okay.
This is the Galaxy eye goggles.
Yeah.
Yep. And those have the compression and the heat and the vibration and the PEMF, the integrated PEMF. And yeah, and they have the little pinholes. So when you have them on, now the mode I always run is compression. So you can't, it's compressing, right?
Compression,
So
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hard to see through those. But if you just had it on like heat mode, or
Mhm.
something like that, you could actually watch TV or be on your phone
And
or whatever.
and by the way, I have glasses that help improve your vision, and they have pinholes like that.
Yes,
And if you read through the pinholes,
it helps.
it improves your vision as
It
well.
does. It does.
Yeah, very cool. And that has PMF and terahertz.
It does. I don't think it has the terahertz. It has the integrated PEMF in it.
It does say that.
It does say that, but I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Maybe.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that.
Okay.
I don't think it does. I think this is from Oli Nation, so I need to go and look at the Oli Life.
Okay. Wayne, any
Yeah, maybe
chime in on
Wayne.
that?
Is Wayne in the chat?
I believe he is. Let's see. Velma says, can you use the goggles if you've had cataract surgery and those lens put in?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
It would have to be definitely after everything's healed. You wouldn't want to do anything
After
right
it's healed.
after surgery. Any of these devices, because there's microcirculation involved, you wouldn't want to use right after surgery.
Okay.
You want to give it a good 48 hours.
Good to know. I've sold the shaken massager to some surgeon friends of mine who help with back pain during surgery. Oh, the surgeons.
Oh,
They're-
the
okay.
surgeon during surgery.
Yeah, the way that reads, it could be like, yeah, I'm going to open up your back, but let's put this thing on. So, yeah. So, because they're bending over, right?
Because they're bending over. Yeah, maybe I should have Steve do the dishes while he's wearing the shaking.
Yeah, exactly. Wayne
New
says,
idea. Thanks, David.
he thinks, yeah, right. Yeah, he thinks it's PEMF only.
Yeah, it's integrated PEMF only.
How does it affect titanium in the body? Do we know?
Yes. So the manual that you get with the machine, with the P90 Plus, says that if you have any joint replacements, that you shouldn't use this. And again, that's a wide, swipe of people that shouldn't use it then. But this is what I learned, is that joint replacements prior to 2001 had a lot of different metal alloy in them that retain heat. Not all of them, but some of them. So prior to 2001. So if somebody comes in with an older knee or whatever, I'm very cautious, put them on it, but I'm very careful to make sure that we're not heating up that. We don't want to heat up that knee. We don't want to heat up the metal alloy in there. Titanium doesn't do that. So I have people with screws in their ankles, plates in their legs, knee replacements, hip replacements. In fact, I had a gentleman who had a knee replacement, and the P90 Plus helped him not have to take his pain meds prior to his surgery. He was like, now, don't get me wrong, my knee still hurts, but I'm not having to take the medication. So that's
okay. Well, what can you tell me about this device?
You know what? I can't. I don't have one. I've heard great things about that. It's like after a rain where everything feels so amazingly fresh.
Oh,
because
really?
It's negative ion. So a lot of people use like salt lamps. So this is probably just a like more advanced version of that. I do not have one, and I don't have the Vitality wand yet. Wayne, I will be getting one. He convinced me I need to get one because that it's amazing.
There's my salt lamp right there. That's been a fixture in the SNED shed for quite some time.
There you go. Yeah.
And
yeah.
and so did you say Vitality Wand? That's the one you're getting?
Yeah, so if you scroll up to
I just went past
yeah,
that one.
that one.
Yeah.
That one comes with a stand that has an oscillating feature, so you can actually set it up so that it's sending the integrated PEMF and the terahertz to specific area, like along your spine or across your shoulders, so you don't have to have somebody doing it for you. But this is great for people to use on spot treatments, and I've heard amazing things about it.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Wayne has some great stories on that one too.
All right.
He can come up here and share sometime. And then this is the first one. The first device they came out with was the P90.
Yeah.
And then they came out with the P90 Plus that has the attachments. Now, I want you to remember, if you get the P90 and maybe you buy some attachments from somewhere else, the P90 does not allow you to attach those extra apparatuses. The
Okay.
P90 Plus has the port for you to plug in the claw massager and the Beauty Vitality wand, or the beauty wand. The P90 does not. So that's why I kind of go, since you can't buy the claw massager and it's got all those extra frequencies, and you can't buy the beauty wand and it has those frequencies,
Right.
you really just need to look at the P90 Plus.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And then here's the user manual.
Yes. Yes, there you go.
And I think this one's really helpful for people who want to share it, but don't necessarily want to be a trainer or the teacher or the educator.
Right.
You want people to enjoy the machine, but you don't want all the questions to come back to you. You want to just be able to share it and go, oh, here's a manual. So.
Right. Very
And
cool.
there's questions, all of the do's and don'ts and the cautionary stuff, precautions, and can I use an extension cord with this? And all of those little questions that the manual that comes with the machine doesn't provide all that information. Like, what do I do with the fuses? What are they for? What's the little magnety thing in there? What is that for? So all those questions are answered in this book.
Awesome. And folks, that's how we're thanking Maria for her time. We're giving you a free book with your purchase of the P90 Plus or another device. And you really don't need an incentive because it's absolutely fantastic. And the testimonials, I'm blown away at the testimonials of this device,
Mm-hmm.
like what I'm hearing from people and
Yeah,
how
me too.
quickly it's helping.
I'm blown away by seeing it. Like you get somebody that stands up and they go, I couldn't go up the stairs before I got here. And now all of a sudden they're walking up and down the stairs because their ankles don't hurt. And you're just like, wow, I haven't had a device ever or, a supplement ever that's created that kind of change in such a short period
Quickly.
of time.
I put a girl I coached the other day, I put her on it in my car. I have a plug in my car. And she sat in the passenger seat and
At her session.
yeah,
Mhm.
after her session, because she had an ankle issue that was bothering her, and I just stood out there and talked with her mom and another mom while she did it, and she got off and she said, it doesn't hurt anymore. And she was running around. She went down to the creek and got some tadpoles and brought them back, and just like it was definitely that quick.
Right.
Yeah. And I had to get the P90 Plus for the larger footprint. I have size 16 shoes. So I had to get the good one. I had to get the big one.
To get the big one.
And I'm glad because, like you said, you have the additional devices that are really fantastic
Right.
as well. And I haven't even used the face one. And I've got this kind of like,
I know.
yeah. And
Mhm.
I want to see if that'll help on that.
Yeah. I feel like if I were just to use it really, really consistently, I I maybe get 2 sessions in a week, which is really dumb. I just,
Mhm.
but a lot of times I'm sitting at my desk and I have the Oli machine below me. So I'm not always over in my chair. My cat gets very annoyed with me that I'm not sitting in the chair with the Oli because he loves his Oli session.
Nice.
And
Nice.
so, but I need to use those apparatuses a lot more than they do.
Fantastic.
Trying to look and see if there's any other questions that have come through.
Yeah, folks, any questions that you have for Maria while we have her? Do people put their hands on it? I know Wayne answered GLB 24.
Yes.
Just keep it on level 1. But are people putting their hands on it?
Yeah. And then what I recommend is putting a towel or something because you have your hand on the plate. You don't want to create another, since it's direct current, you don't want to create another circuit. Your feet or your hands on the plate are creating a full circuit.
Okay.
So you don't want to touch another body part. Like if you have your feet on it, you certainly don't want to put your finger down on the plate. You'll do it once and then you'll go, oh, that kind of bit me with a little bit of a shock, right? You have to be careful, right?
Okay, good
And
to
you
know.
have to really
Yeah.
respect the device. But if you put your hands on it, I would put a towel across the edge so that your forearm doesn't, create another circuit. But yeah, I've not done it personally, but I have had people who do it.
Awesome. Okay, good to know. Folks, you have any additional questions? I know you were asking a lot of questions that Wayne was answering and Nancy were answering along the way. If you just go to snedpemf.com, snedpemf.com, and fill out the little page there, you'll have a conversation with Nancy and or Wayne, and learn more about how this can work for you, answer any questions you might have. There's no obligation. There's never any obligation. Folks, listen, I've given away 1,700 shows that are very, very long, and the time spent just doing the research for those shows, I can't even put a number on. Giving it all away. This is not any obligation for you. This is just finding out more information. But oftentimes, I find that when we put intention forward, with this is something that sounds like I should have. And when you put that intention forward and you start moving in the direction of something like this, it's amazing what happens. It's amazing how the universe, God, provides for the things that we set our intention for.
That's so true.
And so, yeah, I just offer that. Just have a conversation and see if it's something that you want to put into your frequency of like, yeah, I want to do something with, that can help my body. And this is something that people are just raving about. So let me look at how I can make this happen. And, you'd be amazed at what shows up.
Can we just go through some of the what your listeners are putting in here? In your
Absolutely.
chat?
Yeah.
Because there's some of them that are just really good testimonials.
Yeah.
People who've already bought.
Yeah. Read away, whatever you want to.
I had a guy with sciatic nerve pain, and I used the claw for 20 minutes on his sciatic. Oh, this is Wayne saying this, on his sciatic nerve, and it relieved all of his pain.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Catherine says, I have my own claw. Okay, so.
Just real quick, Motor Yoder. I'm very sorry to hear about Cody, my man. What a Cody, dude. 12 years old, had him since December 2014. God bless you all. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's going to take a while to fill that hole. And well, it won't. What do they say? Time doesn't heal. Time heals the wound, but it does nothing for the scar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, fur babies leave scars, big time. So where did I see that? I scrolled past it. So my wife has arthritis in her hands, and I had her put her hands on the P90 Plus for 10 minutes, and all the pain was gone. That's Wayne again.
Wow. Who was that?
Wayne said that.
Wayne said that? Okay, I'm
Mhm.
trying to find. Here it is. Okay. Oh yeah, responding to Marie. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. I need to do that for my hands a little bit. Yeah, my hands have been beaten up a bit over the years. Um, I'm gonna definitely do that.
This is a fun one. Well, this is, I think this is Nancy. I put my 88-year-old friend blind in one eye from glaucoma on the P90 Plus and the Galaxy goggles. And after 20 minutes, she started seeing a little bit again in that eye.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Do we have anyone with Parkinson's? Yes. Just got a testimony yesterday. Actually, I was the one that facilitated it. She came in and, her head was definitely going. Her hands were shaking. She wasn't a social person, so it took me a while to, kind of get in so that she felt comfortable with me. So we chatted for a little bit, and then put her feet on it. She only did 8 minutes on intensity 1. She felt like she was complete with that. And so the massage therapist that I was at, her unit was on its way. So I was actually going to her office and doing sessions for her. So Tamara did get her device and just did a session on her this morning. So she called me with an OMG moment that Sue had come back, and she's the one with Parkinson's. And instantly, Tamara noticed that she didn't have the shaking like she did before, only a little bit of tremoring. And so she went ahead and did the massage part that she was going to do. And then they did the session on the P90. She did 10 minutes, 14 minutes. It was longer than the 8 minutes. And when she got done, her hands were super steady. And she had been telling Tamara, she was like, I can't write anymore because you just can't read anything I write. So Tamara, in her wisdom, said, you need to, let me give you a pen and paper and you need to write something. So she sat down and she wrote a sentence, and it was completely legible.
Wow.
So after the first experience, when I had put her on it, she went home and told her husband how she felt. And he said, well, how much is it? And she said, well, it's $16.50. And he said, well, that's not bad, which kind of shocked her. And then she went home. She told Tamara, she goes, I'm going to go home today. And before my husband gets home, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write a letter. And when he walks in the door, I'm going to hand him the letter.
Oh man.
So at about 4 o'clock, at about 4 o'clock this afternoon, Sue texted Tamara and said, my husband is amazed, wants a couple of sessions before we buy.
Awesome.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And she hasn't been.
Parkinson's. Oh, my God, if this is working on Parkinson's.
Again, remember we were talking about all the different variables that it takes to get. So there are so many variables with all of these different, illnesses. So you have to just go, okay, that's one, and that may not be me, or it may not happen as fast, but there are other things that you might be able to add in to help specifically.
I wanted to ask you this. I took it to actually, it was the call that I did last Wednesday night. I had been invited over to some friends to watch the Spurs-Knicks game. So I was watching the call while I was watching the Spurs. I was multitasking a bit. But I was talking to them about this, and her mother has dementia. And so I wanted to ask you if you've had any experience with that or heard of any experience with that.
I have one well, his is based on a brain bleed stroke, though. He's got some short-term memory that it was in the occiput. So he's got some short-term memory stuff, and he has aphasia. So he spits out words that don't belong where they belong, right? And he can tell when he's talking to somebody or trying to express that. He can tell by the expression that the people are not getting it. He doesn't know he said the wrong word until he sees their expression, and then he knows he said something wrong. And so he really pulled back. He didn't really. he would sort of be in the family. He would be around the family, but not engaging with them, kind of just, like, I don't want to talk. And then after being on the P90 for about a month, his wife said that they went out to dinner and he was just chatty Cathy, and he was just engaging. And yeah, there were a few words here or there, but he was engaging enough that you could tell the context of what he was
Wow.
saying. So he was right there with everything. So I do believe over time, I know that I can wear earrings now that I wasn't able to wear because of the nickel in
You
them.
mentioned that, yeah.
And so if we're looking at heavy metals in the brain and stuff like this, and this is actually helping the body chelate on its own, get heavy metals out, then it's very, very possible, definitely, that this could help with things, because, there's so much that settles in the brain. Okay, I want to read this one really quick. My blood pressure is sky high only when I go to the doctor. It's 190 over 100, right? So today at the doctor, it was 123 over 70. I've been using my P90. That's awesome.
Wow.
So
Wow.
took away that white coat syndrome. Isn't that awesome?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wayne says, a friend of mine put his mom on the P90 plus for 2 months and her dementia greatly improved and went from barely walking with a walker to walking with a cane.
Pain. Isn't that just so awesome? It's so awesome. I have normal blood pressure. Is that an issue? No, that's not an issue. No, it may drop down a smidgen more. If you have, normally you have low. So low blood pressure so low and high can be a B vitamin deficiency. So what I would recommend, which I recommend to everybody, is that you start on a multivitamin and a good mineral supplement, an electrolyte supplement that you start bringing in, because as we ask the body to have higher voltage, it needs better nutrition. It just does.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
We can't just keep with the same what we've been doing, because we will tank our reserves. We all have different levels of reserves. We just don't know how much is there. So we want to be bringing in a nice green drink. I know you don't like them, but find one. Find one that you can add some lemon or some stevia to, or something that works.
Okay.
Start adding in your electrolytes. Find one that has a little bit more potassium. Start taking that. Start taking a vitamin. I think that was the big thing with, Stephen and his doctor with that tooth implant, where he said, it's just a waste of your money. No, it's not, because I can never remember the date. June 19th, 2002. June 19th, 2002, JAMA, so the Journal of American Medicine, put out that article that said it would be prudent for all adults to supplement their diet with nutrition, vitamins and mineral supplements. So that's in their JAMA. That's from 2002. And unless they read their own journals, they don't know that. But, so we need to be doing that. That's just what we've been talking about tonight. The soil's depleted, we're depleted, our food's depleted. If we want our body to respond better and recharge our battery, then we got to be bringing in better food and better supplementation.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. And you find that the water is key when people are going through doing this to hydrate better.
Yeah, with the electrolytes. And it can't just be the salt. You got to get a nice electrolyte blend that has more potassium than salt. Did we talk about that last time?
No. I don't think so.
So this is kind of the new buzz thing, right? To do the Celtic salt, the Himalayan salt, and all of that. Well, nowhere in nature, in the vitamin or the fruits and vegetable category of food is sodium higher than potassium.
Okay.
Potassium is anywhere from 2 times to 100 times higher. The ratio is so huge comparatively to sodium. So if you're going to do Celtic salt, Himalayan salt, and you think, oh, that's good, whatever. Yes, do that. But then find an electrolyte powder that will give you, a good portion of potassium too.
What should be the balance between potassium and sodium?
1 to 1 isn't good enough. It's got to be at least double. Even 4 times would be better. 4 to 1, 5 to 1 would be better. Yeah.
So 4 potassium to 1 sodium?
At least, I would say.
Okay.
So the one I take is only 10 milligrams. Get this, 10 milligrams of sodium, because I get enough. I salt my food with Himalayan salt, Celtic salt, right? So 10 milligrams of salt has 1,000 milligrams of potassium. We need 4,700 milligrams of potassium a day. 4,700. And a banana is 300 to 400.
Oh my God.
A whole avocado is 800.
Holy cow.
So if someone goes,
4,700 grams of
milligrams,
milligrams,
Mhm.
sorry, of
Yeah.
potassium.
So you want to go conspiracy a little bit?
Yes, please.
Okay. It's been 4,700 milligrams for a very, very long time.
For
But just
potassium. For
but
potassium.
for potassium. But just recently, they lowered it to 2,600, half the amount. Wonder why?
Really?
Wonder why? We have 5G, which is changing our calcium ion channel. Calcium ion channel changing makes us more acidic, right? So our blood viscosity.
Wow.
So we have thicker blood, more chance for stroke.
Wow.
If someone is admitted into the hospital for a cardiac event, you know, one of the first things they put them on, they call it a banana bag. It's a saline with potassium because they know.
Interesting.
They know,
Interesting.
but they don't tell us. And the FDA only allows the supplement companies to encapsulate a 99 milligram capsule. So someone will come in and say, oh, I take my potassium. And I'm like, is it in powder or capsule form? Oh, it's in a capsule. I'm like, yeah, it's probably 99 milligrams. You need 40. If you're not going to eat today, you need 47 of those. Yeah. So I love that we had the keto craze because the keto craze brought about electrolyte blends. And so, yes, in the book, Wayne just said, in the back of my book, I have the Kepi brand. There's other brands too, but I love it because it's 1,000 milligrams of potassium. And then it has other minerals in it too. And this is for the women this is for the women in the room. As our estrogen and progesterone starts to wane, as we get into this middle-aged life, whatever, our ability to hang on to potassium goes away. So reserves of potassium becomes almost nothing. And that's why heart disease becomes the number one killer of menopausal and postmenopausal women, is because we don't bring in the potassium we need. We don't know to, right? But we don't know why we're jittery. We don't know why we have muscle cramps. We don't know why our shoulders hurt so bad and our neck feels like it's glass and it's going to break. I know, David, you don't understand this, but this is what happens to us. We feel like we need a new pillow every night. We feel like we need new mattresses every night. We're sleeping in weird ways, just trying to get through because our body needs better mineralization. And one of the big keys is potassium. So that's huge.
Good to know. That's a key info. Jingle says stevia is a hormone disruptor. Do you know anything about that?
You know,
is it a hormone disruptor or Mormon disruptor? I don't know what she's meaning there. I think she's saying hormone, not Mormon.
So that would be interesting. Let's write an article on that. Okay, so this is what I know about stevia. I know that through blood, the LCAT test that you can take to find intolerances for foods through blood, and then you can also do it through hair, right? So stevia can be an intolerance for people. Not everybody. Turmeric, curcumin can be an intolerance for people. Not everybody. So so you've got to, it's nice to know those things. LCAT is a $500 test. Not everybody's going to do that. It definitely gives you an idea, but you also have to do the test fairly often, every couple of years. Hair test, you need to do about every 6 months, every 8 months. But that can also show you intolerances, and we all have intolerances. So I don't know about stevia specifically being a hormone disruptor. I don't typically use it. I use a monk fruit and I use honey. So those are my go-tos. But there are the like the electrolyte blends that have stevia in them as well. So I guess I would have to do research on that because I've not heard that, but that would be good research. How much potassium? 4,700 milligrams a day. That's what would be ideal through your food and supplementation together.
That's amazing.
I know, isn't it? We don't hear about that. That's one of those menopausal things that causes a lot of havoc for women, and they and then you need potassium. One unit of glucose in the blood needs 1 unit of potassium to change it to glycogen so it moves into muscle and not fat. So we need potassium for that too.
Wow. Edward asked about selenium.
Selenium, important, 200 micrograms a day. Absolutely. Yeah. Magnesium, 425 milligrams a day, in as good of a variety as you can get. If you're constipated, use citrate, but glycinate is good for nighttime. That helps with blood sugar balancing.
Cool. I think next time we get into that, some of that a little bit, some of the support vitamins and minerals that
Yeah, I
that we're
think that would
talking about.
I think that would be good too. I think that's a lot of times people are we just don't know. We're not taught. And our doctors aren't taught. They're not taught. They're taught by,
Right.
a resident for 30 minutes on nutrition. And so they don't, and unless they're researching on their own. But then because of liability, they can't even tell you what they take. My son was in the hospital with he had herpes in the brain. We almost lost him.
Oh my God.
I had he was still in college, and on the windowsill I had, of his room, I had all the supplements, right? I had all the drops, all the minerals, everything. And the nurses would come in and go, "Are you giving him those?" And I'd be like, "Oh, those are for me," and then under my breath, "And for him too," because I would turn my back towards the camera and put his big water bottle in front of me, and I was filling it with brain supplements and minerals and just everything to support his body.
Wow.
And so when he checked out, he had signed all the checkout papers, right? And the attending physician came in, and we were talking to her, and I said they were going to have him on a viral antiviral for the next 30 days. And I said, "Do you think it's okay if he takes olive leaf extract? Because that's great for viral olive leaf extract while he's doing the antiviral." And she said, "Well, I'll leave that up to you because that's your specialty. But what I really would advise, now, granted, he's already signed the paperwork and he's released from the hospital, right? So now she can open up." She says, "But I would definitely be doing green drinks, and I would be definitely taking a multivitamin and bringing those things in." And it's like, wow, she had to wait till he signed the papers that
Wow.
he was released from the hospital before she would reveal what she thought would be helpful, right? Yeah.
It's amazing.
Their hands are tied. Their hands are tied. So even when they know, they can't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Stay away from the hospitals, folks. It's unbelievable.
Unless it's life or death, and they can help, and they do. They do.
Yeah.
They do their
Yeah.
job.
Like emergency stuff.
Oh, I just
Absolutely.
wish we could integrate, but it's just, yeah, it's so hard because they're paid to be the mouthpiece for the pharmaceutical companies, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm posting in the comments Life Light Solutions, which is Maria's
Yeah.
website,
That's
lifelightsolutions.com,
lightsolutions.com. Yeah.
and where you can find out more about her and the things that she's doing. And
Yeah, I think I've talked to several of your people who ordered that just had questions, and they felt
oh,
they were kind enough to reach out. So that was awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, so grateful to have you on again, Maria. And
Thank you for inviting me.
yeah, and thank you for everybody who tuned in. This is not the normal show that I do, so I am appreciative of those folks who are understanding that I am wanting to step into more solutions than problems, because we are, I believe, absolutely seeing a shift in the direction of our country, our world, our health, and this is part of the frequency. Tesla talked about it. Einstein talked about it. The future of medicine will be frequency.
Yep.
And yeah, so yeah,
Okay.
be well, Maria. Until next time, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yes.
And be well, everybody. I'll see you let's see, tomorrow night, I believe. And at the very least Thursday night, without question. So good night, one and all. Much love to you all, and thank you again, Maria. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
All right, bye.